Hi, Christine. My name is Tabitha Madi Musa, and I'm responding to your discussion board post for the second one, week three, and in which you talked about your primary question and you shared your view and your opinion of on the article and what you considered most interesting about the results of the study. So here are a few areas in which I either agreed or disagreed with you. Firstly, I did the primary question you talked about resonated with me because that was what I was thinking. That it was more about the impact of early religious involvement or exposure on adolescents and how it contributes to their general well-being, both mental health, physical, and character development as they grow into adulthood. I do agree with you with that, and it's reflective of what I've done. I've worked with a lot of young adults in my church. I teach children, and I've worked with young adults a lot, and I tend to see that those who have had this exposure or this feeling of belonging kind of building them some self-confidence that is not easy for them to be misled by peer pressure, and they because they've had the foundation. So having this feeling of belonging to a community of faith in which they are taught not just have being involved in activities to take their mind from being idle. There's this saying when we're young that they always used to say in church was an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So it's more or less like saying that the more idle you are, the less things you have doing, the more you get occupied by the wrong things. For the young adults or for adolescents, it's quite easy to get distracted by what is happening by the people around you or for other kids too. But when you have this foundation of being involved in activities, it kind of helps build your character. So there's a character development there that occurs through depending on the influence they have from either the parents or the church or other, their peer group or their family members. So I found yours to be in agreement with my position on that. I looked at your basic findings that talked about the barriers that that could be the barriers that could occur in the formative years of this young adult, and how it helps build positive attributes, like I said, in their characters, and you did talk about the fact that you felt that the study was effective, and how you were looking at how possible you felt that the study was effective because it involved female high social economic status population, and you wondered about how effective it could be if you were dealing with male population within the foster system. And that is something I found very interesting because I've always been wondering, and I've worked with a bit of kids as a chef, working with them as to see those who fall in between the cracks. So most of the mentoring programs I do with my church members is kind of standing in the gap for young adolescents that fall after they leave the foster system, or while they're in the foster system they fall within the cracks and they get lost. And most of the time some of them that get lost end up losing any possibility of having that character development, having mentors or people to stand in for them. And you raised a valid point. How effective will it be if you're looking at the male population within the foster youth system, whereby it's possible for them to have more exposure to drugs, to a lot of things that could negatively affect them, both their physical health and their mental or emotional health. So that's a good point you raised. And I think that the possibility of this degree of findings to be used in that population might not come across as effective as it does now, as it's coming in this study. So, which is a good point to think about. You talked about the fact also that you, as a clinician, you've worked with communities that deal with mental health and in areas of homelessness and the foster youth, and you see how this lack of protective factors have affected their daily function. And now, when you add to substance abuse and lack of independent living skills, so those are the things that saying that having that village, we call it a village, or having that involvement, spiritual involvement, or church involvement or religious involvement, having it from early childhood kind of builds the foundation on building character. I'm not saying that, I think one of the points I also like to make clear is not that we're not saying that it's not possible for people that have had this foundation not to turn out having negative attributes or characters, but we're saying that the possibility, the data shows that it's higher. So I do agree with you, and I think that that's a good area to really research on. And I think that when you look at those demographics, the point of application of either the strength and the limitations of this study will now vary a bit, because you're dealing with a different population with a different, they don't have the exposure of having parental influences in their early childhood, because they will either be moving from one place to the other. So I did find your write up interesting, and I look forward to interacting more with you in future. God bless you.